Now football is a pleasant game, played in the sun, played in the rain, and the team that gets me excited, Manchester United, Manchester United, a bunch of bouncing Busby Babes, they deserve to be knighted. If ever they're playing in your town, you must get to that football ground, take a lesson, come to see football taught by Matt Busby and Manchester United, a bunch of bouncing Busby Babes, they deserve to be knighted. If ever they're playing in your town, get yourself to that football ground, take a lesson, come to see wizardry by Matt Busby and Manchester United, a bunch of bouncing Busby Babes, they deserve to be knighted. They are the Busby Babes from Lancashire, known as Manchester United, Manchester United, Manchester United, Manchester United.
On the fringe of a Munich airport lies the wreckage of an airliner, still smouldering from a crash in which 21 people were killed. Tragedy enough at any time. But in that plane were a group of young men who were almost the personal friends of millions. Manchester United, the finest soccer team Britain has produced since the war. And 7 of them died in the crash.
Do you remember what you were doing?
Oh, absolutely I do, yeah. I was... used to love playing football as well. I was never any good, but I used to enjoy it. And so I got home from school and walked in, and my mum said, there's been a plane crash and the United team were in it. And it's even now it seems unreal hearing the words.
It was sickening. And it was sickening to every Manchester United supporter eventually when we got to know days and days after who was injured, who'd been killed.
Manchester, from the moment the news came through, was a city in mourning. Newspapers sold as fast as they could be printed. It was as though every family in a city of 750,000 people had suffered a personal loss, and so indeed they had. At Old Trafford, the saddest football ground in the world, the flags flew at half-mast. And on hundreds of other football grounds, other flags were being dipped in sympathy. For this disaster is perhaps the most tragic single blow British sport has ever suffered.
The programme that night for United was blank. And there was only a few hundred printed, and if you were lucky enough to obtain one, it's worth probably hundreds and hundreds of pounds. How many were printed, I don't know, but the programme did not contain one Manchester United name, because you couldn't name the team on the morning of the match. Even you couldn't name the team.
And the 60,000 crowd at Old Trafford, who came prepared to make all the allowances in the world, can hardly believe their eyes. Scratch team or no, this is straight out of the Busby mould. And make no mistake about it, Sheffield are fighting as hard as they know how. Brennan takes the corner, and it's in!
His first goal was direct from a corner. The luck was with Manchester United on that night. Apart from the luck, you could not envisage them being beat. It was impossible to beat them. It was impossible for the crowd not to win. It was fantastic. As a football match and as a football winner, that's probably the greatest emotional game I've ever seen. People cried throughout the game, cried when they scored, cheered when they scored. It was really, really fantastic. And there was over 63,000 there, I think, at the game. But when they went to Wembley, we got beat by Bolton 2-1. And we all became hateful of Bolton, because Bolton's 2 goals, or the goal that won it for Bolton, was a foul that not Loftus scored when he bundled the goalkeeper into the back of the net. The way they won that cup created a hate that was only matched by United and Liverpool today. I remember that vividly.
One cold and bitter Thursday in Munich, Germany, 8 great football stalwarts conceded victory. 8 men who'll never play again, who met destruction there. Oh, the pride of English football, the flowers of Manchester. Busby's lands were flying home.
Now we go into our minute of silent tribute to memory of the 23 people who lost their lives in the Munich air crash.
It was, everyone was a bit nervous really. Desperately didn't want the silence disrupting. I noticed at the end of it, Alex Ferguson turned around to the City fans and applauded them, and it was very moving, and it was felt good to be there.
It's 50 years since you were taken, the pride of football, our Busby Babes. We've shed our tears.
I did it for a kick-off, so that felt good for me. I can't even remember how it came about. Well, obviously everybody knew that 50 years was coming up. There's going to be a big at Old Trafford, an official commemoration. There was a memorial service as well. And it was very much from a fan's point of view. It was, and I spoke to lots of people before I wrote it. And I just wanted it to be a reasonable tribute to everybody involved in the crash. It wasn't just the players, and it was really taken away from football in a way, because it was the people who had suffered. That includes the players, other people that were on the plane, the crew, and the relatives of them were all mentioned. And the idea was that this was a human tragedy, not just a sad loss of football. I put in a song, you are the strength and inspiration for those who play your roles today, and I believe that. Matt Busby always wanted to play very attractive football, attacking football. His philosophy was, if they score 3, we'll have to score 4. And that's the United way, really. And it's continuing now. I think the average age of the first team this season was about 22 or something, which is pretty good when you've got an old geezer like Ryan Giggs there, so that would have shot it up just his age, you know.
Gets past Vieira, past Dixon, who comes back at him. It's a wonderful run from Giggs! Sensational goal from Ryan Giggs in the second period.
But yeah, I think that's it really. It's attractive football played by young, enthusiastic, skillful footballers.